Hey, this is my first part video to explain with some of the tools, the 5 tools I want to talk to you about. But before we get started, I want to make sure you understand what's going on with it. I assume that you have downloaded in Class Exercise number 4 these 4 files that we're doing here with it. So we're going to do the first one is the drawing, which is this zip file right here. I assume you know how to extract a file at this time right now with it, but I can't assume anything with it. So I create a folder, make sure it's down in your OneDrive with it. It must be in your Dallas College OneDrive with it. And I have a folder because I'm in classes with it, but IMED 1301 Fall FA 2022 222, and I create a subdirectory, and your file structures kind of look like this right now with it. And like I said, it's going to be really arbitrary what semester and what year it is with it, but this is what you have right now with it as well. So this is the file that I've extracted one already. This is the draw tools with it. I right mouse click on it, extract all, and that's how I got this folder, drawing tools. But let me do another one, creating your edit work. We're going to extract all of these. There are 5 of these. Just keep the default on this one, and these are the files that we're going to be working with. So I could create those 2. Another one, extract all. There's supposed to be 5 of these that I'm going to be doing with you, so I only get 4. So there's another one that I haven't captured yet with it. So, but that's how you extract a file. We're going to be working inside the tools in Illustrator here with it. So let me minimize this. This is the how do I get to this? Oh, I went here and I type in File Explorer. This right here. All right. It opens up my OneDrive with it. So this is my OneDrive, how I got here with it as well. All right, let me minimize this. Once you're in here with it, I'd like for you to, let me just minimize this. In Illustrator, do File Open, and this is in that folder that we just extracted in here with it. I'd like for you to find the file it's called, it's called Drawing Tools with it. So let me just expand this so you can see. This is this file right here. I have my drawing tools right here. So this is the subdirectory of file, the drawing tools in Illustrator, which is this. So open the drawing tools with it. So once this is open, I'm going to talk about these 5 tools that you have over here. These are the 5 tools that we're talking about here with it. So if you guys could take a look at some of the tools. When you hover over it, they're going to pop up a name. This is the selection tools. This is kind of like the pen tool. This is the curvature tool. This is the rectangular tool, and this is the paintbrush tool with it. These are the 5 tools. But you notice at the bottom right-hand corner, it's kind of like a little dog ear. So you click on it, like in this particular one, there's a subset category you can bring to it as well. Same thing as your this is the selection tool, which I always like to leave as default with it. The actual rectangle tool, but you can actually click on it and get different type of shapes in here as well. So this right here is your brush tool, and again, your brush tool has what's called the blob brush tool as well, and there's also the pencil tool in here as well with it. So again, I want to come over here. I want to talk to you about these. This is the file that I have open right now with it. So it's called the drawing_tools.ai. AI stands for Adobe Illustrator, which is a vector graphics. It's important for you to understand about vector and raster size, or also known as bitmap. How it's calculated. These are the 2 technologies are different because the point on the graphics and how things are done are based on vector graphics. Is more processor dependent on here. It's very important for you to understand that, which is processor dependent, meaning depends on the calculation of your CPU to calculate the mathematical calculation of the point X and Y for the point with it. But I don't want to belabor you with it, but if you take a look at here is, for example, this is a line tool with it, and every one of these things have what's called points and anchor points to it with it as well. Well, if I click on this one right here, again, this is the tool that I can use by my my rectangular tool, and how I could fill in different type of shapes with it. If I click on that, I get different type of shapes coming out here with it as well. The line tool with it. So one of the things that I want to show you, the path that when you look at some of the path that you look at, these are closed path, is what we call it, and this is done by the rectangular tool. The open paths are opened by a line, but they're anchor points with it. You know that if I hover over it, you see the word anchor. This is the path. You see the word path that pops up there? So this is considered as a path. These are closed path, these are open paths with it as well. So that's the type of stuff that I want for you to understand how things work with it. So in here, I'm going to show you the first tool is the rectangular tool here. And if I click it down in the right hand corner, you see there's also a line segment on here. So you can create a line segment like this, or you can do another shape and select one of these shapes with it as well. So let me give you for example, if I clicked on this right here, I can actually adjust the line tool, which is an open path tools with it as well. Versus something like a closed path tool is that I can actually adjust and move this particular object and place it anywhere I want to as well. As you can see, this tool right here is done and create the butterfly that you see on this side over here. You see that? So that's how a lot of times the rectangular basic tools that you can actually access it and do it the same way with it. So let me show you a little bit about the different type of brush tool that you could have. This is the paint tool with it. If I click on this, it pops up the paint option with it. Hold on. So the paint option that you see, I just clicked on it, and this is why I wanted to on this side over here, right here. So you could see there's a lot of different type of strokes and opacity I can adjust on this side with it. So I can fill into a different color with it. So let me take for example, if I want this particular color and this appearance with it, I can actually draw kind of like a pencil with it. Really good way to know is to practice with a command. It's called Control Z, which is a really good way. You need to know a little bit about with it. Okay, so it closes it off with it. So that's one of the tools that it's like a pencil. You could take a pencil and you could draw with it as well. The next one, so you have what's called the pencil tool. Move this over here. And a lot of times you can see the properties that takes place over here with it. So you can see the layers, and this is the layer that we're working on with it, and the library with it. But the properties for the pen tool, you can adjust the size of the pen and have different textures you could use. So for example, if I want to use this, I can actually use, you could see, I want to do done, because I selected the layers and the properties for this. This is the brush that I want to use with it. So I can do this, and you could see the different type of kind of like a different texture I can actually use. I can actually increase that a little bit more. Let's take that to what, 10, and you can see it's a little bigger. Okay, so it's a little bit more bigger texture than you see with it as well. Play around with it. You could see different ways that you can do with it, that you can hold and texture a lot of things with it. So let me talk to you about the curvature tool right now, which is this pen has a line. We call it the curvature tool with it. So let me say, for example, if I click on here, just click, and then I click on another one, and you could see how I actually click, and it creates anchor points for me, and where I can actually adjust those anchor points and how those anchor points impact with it. So this is what's called the anchor. This is called see, I can click off, and usually you want to close off that point with it. You can adjust, like I said, and you could actually make curvatures like this for it as well. That's an anchor pen with it as well. All right. Next, I want to talk to you about the pen tool. The pen tool is probably the most powerful tool between Illustrator and Photoshop as well. But in here, the pen tool, you can do a lot of things with it. So let me give you an example. Let me find a space right here. So let me do this one. You could see, once I find the pen tool, I can actually create it, and I can actually bend the line however I want and connect the lines with it. And you could see how these lines and how I connect to it and adjust a lot of stuff with it. And I can actually move and adjust the inside of certain points to it. All right, and you could see, for example, I want to do this one right here, do this one here, and you could see you can adjust what's called the handle in this right here. You see those handles? You can bend lines off of the handles. Again, these are all vector graphics that you can adjust with it, and it makes it really nice. You can see these handles that comes out on it. You can bend round curvatures, and it just takes a little bit more finesse calculations of points that you do this with it as well. Okay, so that's what I want you to do, is be familiar with some of the stuff that we're talking about in here with it. I'm watching the time, that's why. So I want to point out is this last image that you see here, this monster on this iPad, or this object here, was created by the pen tool. Every one of these tools you could actually do the same thing with it, but they have different behaviors, different personality with it. Just come over and just kind of play with some of these tools. One of my favorite tools is the pen tool. So I use these pads right here, just to click and use the anchor that you could see. I'm clicking is the create straight points in here with it. So, and it closes it off with it as well. So you can actually click and point, or you could use the handle. If I held down my left mouse and just kind of drag it and adjust it, you see that? And I can adjust that to make the curvature bend with it. I can bend a line with it by holding down these handles that I have in here on here as well. All right, so that's all I wanted to share with you on there. Let me close that off with it. So that's the end of this. So here's what I want you to do, is take the screenshot of this whole thing. I mean, it's just a pad that I want you to doodle on. So use your snipping tool right now. Use your snipping tool with it. You go here and just type in snipping tool. And you click on snipping tool. I just want to make sure that you get a chance to doodle on this thing with it. So I want to take this, I want to draw a line. I want to copy this whole Adobe Illustrator and copy that. Copy and paste this into that Word document that I had you do with it as well. So this is the Word document, this section right here. Paste that right there for me, okay? So that's what I want you to do, is just have that you've gone through this video with me. Cool? All right.